Okay, welcome back. Culture Cast episode 4. Dom is with us once again. Thank you for being here. It's we're not in the midst of anything crazy right now like we were the last couple videos with all the free agency, draft night, trades.
Yeah.
Right now, like I said last video, calm before the storm. This is sort of just checking in on things, having some fun with the Damian Lillard situation and you know, it's going to be a pretty chill podcast. Nothing crazy this time around. So, uh, let's get right into it. You were talking to me earlier about really enjoying what you've seen so far from Leonard Miller,
Yeah.
Minnesota Timberwolves, second round pick, their only pick in this draft. Big man, G League Ignite played side by side with Scoot Henderson, somebody that I think everybody assumed was going to be maybe not lottery, but mid
Yeah.
first round to late first round. And he kind of just fell
Yeah.
for I don't know why, but he just did. Um, and Minnesota's, nabbed him. As we were saying right before we started recording, Minnesota already has a plethora of big men, so getting another is like, who knows why, but um, liked what I've seen so far. You really liked what you've seen so far, so yeah, let everyone know, man. How is he doing? What do you think about him so far?
So you have a 6'10 moving, you have power forward, small forward, combo forward, makes sense. But the ability he's shown to shoot the three is like, okay, this guy probably will be like a legitimate catch and shoot type player if needed. But also the creation I've seen in the slashing he's like been able to accomplish so far in summer leagues, like it blows my mind that like no one saw this guy higher or like better quality at that pick. Cause to me, second round was like insane to me because I saw him in mocks up to 12, even 10
Yeah,
in certain mocks. So it's like seeing a guy fall like this and then putting on the show he's been doing. He's been very well. He's been hustling. He plays defense. He's shot the ball extremely well for what I thought would be a work in progress for him. I
yeah.
believe last game he was 2 for 4 from three. Not a lot of attempts, small sample size, but even then, showing the willingness to shoot from someone like that, I'm pretty hyped with this guy. I think he'll be a very good. I'm not going to say steal the draft just yet. Let's pump the brakes a bit, but
Yeah.
as of right now, I like what I've seen a lot, and I think that's someone to really keep an eye out for going more into the summer league and maybe even seeing some more minutes in the regular season. So that's a pretty interesting player right there for me.
Yeah, and the range he's got, it's not just right on the line. Like he's
Yeah,
taking shots from a couple steps back. The shot looks pure.
big time.
A lot of bigs in this league that shoot don't really have pretty looking jump shots. A lot of them are very, eesh, and you
Yeah,
just hope it goes in. But his looks pure. He looks like he's really got a nice shot going. So
big
I
time.
think that helps. You were talking about kind of potentially getting some minutes, but again, the log jam of big
Yeah.
men. Is there any scenarios where you see Leonard Miller potentially in trades, potentially, or I wouldn't even say trades, but maybe Minnesota just cuts him because they see someone on the free agent market that they want to add. Like, who do you think Leonard Miller could fit with here outside of Minnesota?
And if anything, the only scenario I really see in Minnesota where he gets the quality minutes is that they'll have to slot him in at small forward and
Hmm.
have him I believe he's 6'10 and a quarter without shoes on. So he's probably
Okay.
6'11 with shoes on. Pretty
Yeah.
small forward, if you ask me. Moves fairly well, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. But that's the only scenario I really see him playing solid minutes is at the three.
Hmm.
I could see it's kind of hard to say. I feel like most teams wouldn't be too disappointed with someone like that, having a four or even a three at times that is able to space the floor at times while also being able to slash, create for himself. He's very athletic. So
Yeah.
he's a very interesting player. I think he'll only get better defensively as time goes on. But as of right now, I maybe a few teams off the head I could think of. Maybe like, man, maybe a Memphis, a team that really at times needs a wing. And it's kind of hard to say, but that's
Just
also a
needs
very
the
good,
versatility at kind of
yeah.
the 3 through 5 because you have what Steven Adams,
And
Jake
Jared Jackson at the
Laravia,
four.
Jaron.
Yeah. Big
Yeah.
team already. So maybe not that much
Well,
here.
just getting some versatility because, like you're
Yeah.
saying, Leonard Miller could even slot in at the three, and
Yeah.
you get a guy who could kind of just roll with any lineup. That's a big plus for teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing is when you get a guy that's just so athletically gifted like Miller is, you pair him with someone who could, get him to just figure out how to be a serviceable perimeter defender at that size, I
Yeah.
think is huge because then the versatility expands even more. And
Big
now it's not like, okay, we have to pair him with a very good defensive two or a very good defensive five. We can
yeah.
just throw him in. He can hold his own and be a good team defender, rim protector, whatever the team needs. And like you said, shooting the ball, he can space the floor. So just given that two-way ability, I think is pretty big. So yeah, he's someone like the value is going to be there. I think there
I
are a
agree.
lot of teams that'll probably like just inquire.
Big time.
It's like I don't know why Minnesota would be key like would be we're not getting rid of him at all because it's
Yeah.
like
They're
where
probably
is he going to
desperate.
play?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, they're very desperate, I think, at times also. So I could
yeah,
definitely see him in the future being someone with playing with the minutes behind him and showing value at that position. I could see him maybe being on the block.
yeah. And one of the it's like when I was watching him, he kind of looks like one of his teammates. He looks a lot like Nas Reed to an extent. I see a
Yeah,
lot of Nas Reed. But I there are a few not post ups, but just seeing a little bit of touch around the rim.
yeah.
I like his passing ability. He's throwing some lobs. You know, just the ability to kind of
Do
you know,
everything.
yeah, not really.
Yeah, not anything great, but
Yeah,
everything's
he's
enough.
not a
Yeah.
specialty guy. It's
Yeah.
not it's not like a JaVale McGee where it's like, okay, you only put in JaVale McGee because he's good in pick and roll and he can block a couple shots and
Yeah.
grab a couple boards. This is someone where it's like there, continue to hit on the versatility. So
Yeah.
uh yeah, exciting young player. He's looking good in summer league, like you said. Um Moving on from him, Amani Bates.
Yeah.
Someone else we've talked about is someone who fell in the draft. Granted, we knew Amani was going to fall in the draft, but
Yeah.
someone who did fall, Cleveland picked him up. Another team that's just kind of got a log jam in the forward position. So I think for Leonard Miller, there's going to be a lot more draw from teams because his build, what he provides, is a lot more of a necessity than Amani Bates, who
Yeah.
athletically has some questions, the wingspan, the weight. There's a lot of questions physically with him,
Yeah.
but he's been like progressively improving,
Oh yeah.
which is kind of redundant. But he's been like the first couple games, the numbers looked a little rough, but the scoring was there.
Yeah.
The shots pure,
No,
but
it is.
in like 3 games, each game the defense has rapidly improved as well
Yeah.
as the percentages are rising. So
Yeah. Game one, he shot 5 for 18, and then was it game two? He shot 5 for 12 in game two, and then game three was he seven
dropped
or five?
21
Yeah,
on like
seven for
7 of 20.
7 for
Yeah.
yeah 7 for 12 or something.
Yeah, really looked good out there and blocked a couple shots even,
Yeah, I saw
some
that
assists,
against
some
Memphis, right?
rebounds.
The Memphis game when he blocked
Yep,
the. Yeah, he looked
blocked
very.
Laravia.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. Very, very solid shot and very solid performance.
Yeah, we were talking about this with Nick Smith Jr. and initially with Wembanyama is like these are guys who they just have so much raw talent
Yeah,
that they're inevitably going to get picked up and teams are going to give them a chance. That's why guys like Dennis Smith Jr. still get opportunities. Guys like Cam Reddish are still getting opportunities. They
yeah,
kind of just have raw talent and teams are hoping, well, maybe we could find gold here.
yeah,
I think, like we were saying with Leonard Miller, Imani Bates doesn't quite have what Leonard Miller has for a
yeah.
team to say, we'll take a chance. However, I think Imani Bates is a scorer.
Instant off.
He already looks like someone who can provide a lot. It doesn't
Yeah,
look like he doesn't look slow out there. That was a big thing. His rookie showcase at the combine looked ugly. I mean, it looked ugly. And everyone was like, oh, he is just not this. He's an NBA player.
yeah.
But so far through summer league, which is it NBA talent? Not technically, probably
Honestly,
more
yeah.
equal to G League, but he's looking good out there.
No, big time.
And he's playing big too. Like he doesn't look like he's shying away. It's kind of like with Chet. I like I was telling you, I really appreciate the way that Chet just doesn't back down. Like he's clearly skinny, but he's still going to your head. He's like going right at your body. He's not trying to euro and finesse his way past. Like he'll get the contact, and Amani's doing the same. And that's something where that kind of shows you can't move him off his spot,
Yeah.
which answers a lot of questions about physically can he be in the league. So I like what I'm seeing. What are your thoughts about it? How are you feeling about Amani? I know you were pretty high on his offense going into this draft.
Yeah, no, offensively, he's very gifted as a shot creator. He's already shown lots of ability to create his own shot. I know it's not the greatest competition as of right now, but I think being at a young age that he is, why not be able to give this guy a chance? I think most likely he'll slot in as a six-man type player from what
Yeah.
I've seen so far. I think he'll be an instant offense guy off the bench as of right now. I'm not going to say anything more than that. I
Mhm.
personally like that part of his game. I think he can fit very well off the bench and provide instant scoring, which Cleveland ranked 28th last year in offensive rating from offensive rating off the bench. They were not a good bench squad. They relied on their starters too much. So
Yeah.
that's a wing that can play off your bench, maybe not next year, but the year after. I think I think it's something that possibly I think we could see him a little bit more down the line. I'm fond of his offensive game as of right now. Defensively, he has looked a lot better. He's shown effort on that side of the ball, which I appreciate. So that's very nice to see coming from a young player that has been said or written off as not a good defender, someone like that. But showing that effort and trying
Yeah.
to work into it, I appreciate that. So as of right now, I'm very happy with this game. So I think in a few years we might be able to see him in a role like that off the bench for them. And if not, same thing. He might be in trade rumors, but I believe he's a two-way player, correct? He's up two-way contract.
Did he? If he signed a two-way contract, that's pretty big. I didn't see that. Maybe he did.
Thought he did,
Um,
maybe not, but I saw he did because if so, I will see a lot of G League from him this year, which I think is perfectly fine.
I'm gonna check real quick. Yeah, he signed a two-way contract. Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, he's kind of a G League stash at the moment.
that's
Just like we were
fine.
saying, bit of a forward log jam there with Struce there, and who else did they get?
They have Okoro, they have Struce, they have Georges Niang, but he'll be a power forward most likely.
Oh, Niang went there, right?
Yeah, and then
Um,
I'm trying to think. Lamar Stevens got shipped off to San Antonio, so he's gone.
okay. Then they an O'Shea, not O'Shea Brissett. Who
He
was
went to
no
the
Lamar Stevens is that who I was thinking of? Okay.
Yeah, he's on the
Um,
Spurs now. And then I know they
yeah.
signed Ty Jerome for their bench, but
Okay.
that's all I can really think of further forward. So I personally think in a few years, if Okoro doesn't work out, which at this point in time, it's not working out for their roster, I personally think with Okoro, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's bad. I think he'll fit better with a different team. I just don't know if that's the right team for him.
Yeah,
So I
because he's
think
just his shooting just has not come
it's
around
not
yet.
there.
The
In defense,
defense is there. Yeah.
special defender, but
Yeah.
offensively, it's not what they want.
He's
And
looking a lot more like a Kogi than he is a Jaden McDaniels.
exactly. Yeah.
But which again, like you said, it's like
Still
that's
has
not a
value.
bad thing. It's
Yeah,
just
still has
for
value,
what
just maybe
Cleveland
not for that
needs.
team. Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
I think with that, I think next year, the year after, we'll see more of Monty Bates in the NBA.
Yeah. What are you thinking about a Jordan Clarkson comparison for Bates? I was
That's
originally
not
thinking
bad.
Terrence Ross, but I feel like Terrence Ross, obviously, at least in his Toronto days, 10 times the athlete. But I
Yes,
think
that
now
yeah,
Terrence Ross is probably a good comparison. But overall, Jordan Clarkson seems pretty,
that seems more realistic. I'd say the
yeah,
terms. Yeah, I
the
agree with
shot
that.
creation is just
Yeah,
huge. And the one thing would be awesome to see from Amani Bates that would just raise his value like that we've seen from Clarkson since getting to Utah post Donovan Mitchell is the playmaking from Clarkson. That's just taken
bro.
such a big step.
Yeah,
If you can just open up your offensive game by saying, yeah, I can manage to pick him. It's like we've seen with Paul George.
yeah,
Paul George's playmaking since Indiana has just
significantly
absolutely gotten better. Yeah.
skyrocketed. Yeah.
And that makes him that much better because that
Oh yeah.
makes some lineups where it's like, we don't have a great point guard.
Yeah.
Okay. You can handle it now
We'll make it
because you've
work.
got a guy that can operate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we could see Amani Bates just add some more to his game. I know it's summer league. He's been in the NBA for like less than 3 weeks. So,
Yeah.
but no, being in the G League, great opportunity to just roll. We saw, Kenneth Lofton Jr., who was a
Yeah.
favorite of mine in last year's draft, looked great in the summer in the G League for the
Yeah.
Grizzlies.
Big time.
So this is not a bad thing at all. But yeah, I think Amani Bates has a ton of potential, and the shot creation is looking as advertised so far. So that's
Yeah,
awesome to see.
definitely.
Moving on from that, let's get into Wembanyama, man. The Wembanyama sweepstakes are over. He's a San Antonio Spur. the face of the franchise already. We all knew it was happening.
Yeah.
Game one, we talked about it in last video. Uh, didn't look bad, but
No.
didn't look like the number one pick. And like we were saying, it's hilarious that his floor is probably Rudy Gobert. But game two, Buddy came in and dropped 27 and 12 with a few blocks
Yeah.
on great efficiency.
Yeah.
So I I don't even know how to like process that because honestly, like I call me a hater, I'm fine with it. But after game one, I was like, that shot is not gonna work. His hands are too big, like consistency with it. I just didn't think it was gonna happen. And he came in game two and just shut me up, stopped all the questions. Like his touch around the rim, man. Oh man, I don't know how he does it at that size, but the consistency and the touch around the rim, it's impressive, and he looked great. How are you feeling about it? He's done for the summer league, so he
Yeah.
gave his good game, and he said, "I'm sitting." He bid us adieu. So, what are your thoughts so far on him? How are you feeling about the Spurs with Wembanyama now?
I mean, I'm glad to see he went more towards the rim that game too. He was throwing that thing down, man. He was dunking it. He's done. He's going. I like to see that a lot more. Shying a little bit away from the shot, going more inside the paint, where he's
Yeah,
very dominant in for the most part from what we saw the other day. I really like to see that, putting more pressure on the rim. That was nice to see that. Very more it's definitely something we'll see a lot this year with the Spurs. So I'm interested. I still think at times I think he'll be just watching him play, he'd be so much better as the four, and letting him roam will be just, I think, perfectly, and
yeah,
he'll be key at the four. But as of right now, no complaints from him. I saw what I needed to see as the first overall pick. He very much deserved to be number one. That's
oh
very
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
But no, yeah, that's a dominant performance is all I can really say from that.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. And yeah, like you said, the versatility offensively he brings and defensively, you can just 3 through 5,
Yeah.
whoever you feel you need around him. I need a dominant 3 and D defender, so I'm gonna slot Wembanyama at the four and then put a good rebounding 5 in her. Just
Yeah,
there's so many things you can do to maximize his skill set.
exactly.
It's crazy to see this at 7'5", but it's weird to think that like because we see Laurie Markkinen 7 feet tall,
Yeah,
small forward.
yeah,
Kevin Durant 7 feet tall, plays mostly small forward, but
forward.
sometimes
Yeah,
power forward.
yeah.
Like there are still big forwards in this game,
Not
but
7'5".
yeah, not 7'5", and not someone with like elite rim protection. And it's so weird. He really is just a cheat code. He just does everything. It's gonna be crazy to see how this translates into the regular season. I really want to see what he looks like against NBA quality centers.
Yeah.
What is the matchup against Jokic? Like, no one can block that Jokic shot. Has he seen a 7'5" dude who could kind of like reach over his head and poke the? I don't know. It's gonna be pretty weird to see. But I'm gonna be honest. The biggest concern I've had with Wembanyama is just there is just not a good history when it comes to 7-footers and health.
I
It's
know.
just not in his favor.
It's scary. I know.
Yeah, it is because he just all I could think about anytime I see a guy like that play is planting wrong. Like
Yeah.
if he goes into dunk and plants wrong, all that goes through my head is that Sean Livingston injury. It's like that kind of it just I don't know. That's all I could think about. And I really hope none of that happens. If he had like a 15-year career and never had a big injury,
That'd be perfect.
incredible.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that would be nice.
But I
It's
hope it's not a
it's
Zion
reality.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
where
I
it's
I really hope it's nothing like that situation. I hope
yeah, where
really
it's
not.
we're sitting here like, man, the Spurs would be a playoff team if
Yeah, I
that's
know.
the worst spot to be in. So,
Yeah.
for Wembanyama's sake, for the Spurs, like I really hope the health is there because he's one talented motherfucker. So, yeah. Um, moving off of that, I think this is sort of where we get into some weird territory because it's not quite realistic. It's
Yeah.
sort of just like, let's have some fun. Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is he's I a fan of Dame, but I'm gonna be honest, all this drama is just really annoying because it's so unnecessary and he I don't know. I think it's very unnecessary. He's had so many opportunities to leave Portland,
Yeah.
and then every year it's like he's unhappy with where Portland's going. It's like where did you think they were going? We all knew they weren't going to build. Like, come on, man. And then they draft Scoot, and he's like, now I want out. And then they signed Jeremy Grant, and he's like, I still want out. It makes no sense. And now he's saying, don't send me to these certain teams. I don't
Yeah.
want to go to the Celtics. I don't want to go here. I don't want to go. It's like, dude, where do you get off, man? You know what I mean? Like, who do you think you are? I don't know. I'm getting a little frustrated with this. It's just like he's trying to James Harden his way out, and I think I think it's really immature. Because again, he's had multiple opportunities to do this. What are your thoughts on the situation? How are you viewing it?
I see it from both angles. I can understand seeing it from the point of view where it is very immature to be like, hey, I'm not playing for you if you trade for me. That I do see as a bit annoying. At the same time, I do wish he would have asked earlier because like you said, they've never built a contender around him. You probably knew this from a few years ago that it's just not going to happen. They're not going to spend quality. They're not going to do it right. They've never done it right.
Yeah,
2016 was a perfect example of Portland trying to build around him, but they did it completely wrong, messed up the whole blueprint. So at this point, it's kind of hard to really defend yourself at this point because you understand what you gotten yourself into. It's kind of hard. I do wish nothing but the best for Dame, obviously. Fun player. Amazing. I hope he gets what he wants in the end to a point. But at the same time, it's like it is very immature to do what he's doing at this point and saying, hey, I'm not going to play for you at all if you trade for me. Even though it might be a better situation than, I don't know. I think the Celtics would be a solid situation. I don't think it'd be that bad. But
yeah, and it's like his whole thing was I don't want to run from the grind.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, you're saying I don't want to go to the Celtics because that's not a good enough situation. What? So you're not. So you are running from the grind, or are you not? He's like, I want to go to Miami, and it's like,
yeah.
well,
I don't.
this is just so confusing to me. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. It's just it's bothering me because again, like you said, 2016, Portland tried, but
Yeah.
it was like
Helen
we all
Crab and Evan
knew,
Turner.
yeah,
It's
we
yeah,
all knew that shit wasn't working, and it was
yeah,
like, yeah, this thing is over already.
yeah.
And but he signed 3 extensions from there.
He did. That's why
There
it's
was no gun to his head. He
yeah,
wasn't like
exactly.
forced to do
Yeah.
this. He made that decision, and he
Yeah.
knew damn well what he was getting into. He's not stupid. It wasn't like Portland never made any sort of big time effort to go out and get stars. So I just a situation like this bothers me because now you're holding them hostage on some like
Yeah.
revenge shit, and it's like, why? You did this to yourself, bro. They didn't force you to. It's like
Yeah.
Bradley Beal signing a $500 million deal with no trade clause. It's like, dude, who told you to do that? No
Yeah.
one. You
That was
wanted the
yeah.
bag. Okay, but live with your decision. So,
Consequences.
but yeah, to get off of that and to kind of go to where this originally was headed, we have picked out a few fun destinations in which Damian Lillard would fit best.
Yeah.
Now, this has nothing to do with trade packages. This has nothing to do with realistic packages, nothing to do with salary cap or anything. This is simply where we think Damian Lillard would fit best. Because he's kind of handicapped in where he can go. Not a lot of teams have the assets to trade for a guy of his caliber. Not a lot of teams have the cap space to trade for a guy of his caliber. And not a lot of teams seem to fit the bill for Damian Lillard. Like, I don't want to go here. Well, okay, man, you're kind of it's like you're really only open for a couple situations. So, and I think those situations, like we talked about before starting,
Yeah,
Miami and Brooklyn, probably the two,
most realistic.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would happen. Two teams that have the cap, that have the assets, but I don't think either team gets better by trading for Dame. I think
I
you lose
agree.
too much.
Yeah,
So,
I fully agree with that.
to start, let's get into your few teams. Who do you think Damian Lillard would fit best on, just for fun?
So as we know, Dame, high usage guy, not the strongest player off the ball. He needs the ball in his hands to succeed at times. Very good pick and roll guard, very high pick and roll guard. Uses a lot of pick and roll to score. I understand that. So first, personally for me, seeing a team where he would succeed the most, and I think would be Toronto, and that's because they need a guard. They lost Fred. They've always struggled, I think, in the shot creation aspect, and they don't have
Yeah.
a true one at times. And I feel Pascal is a great player, no
Mhm.
doubt about it. But at Pascal is your one. He's not meant to be a true number one player. It's kind of shown since Kawhi's left. They've made it to the second round once. They didn't
Yeah.
make the playoffs this year. They didn't make the playoffs in 21. They made it in 22. They lost in 5 to the Sixers.
Sixers. Yeah.
They will lose in 7 to the Celtics in 2020, I believe, in the bubble in the
Okay.
second round. That was your best team you've had around Pascal that wasn't with Kawhi. So as of right now, he's not showing me that he can be the one on his own. So getting someone like Dame to come in, take over as the one, it might be something interesting, even though you're trading away probably a lot of assets, which ruin the team and detriment it to an extent. So it's kind of hard to say. But I personally think that would be a place where I could see Dame succeeding very well. But then again, he might be in the same situation like he was in Portland. It might not just work at all. That's something I can think of. Another team I thought would be super fun, not realistic whatsoever, and it will not happen. It's just solely put out for fun. It's the Denver Nuggets, and that is just because you have Nikola Jokic, one of the best pick and roll bigs we've ever seen. You have someone who can play off the ball as a center, can create for Dame. You see what he does for Jamal. He plays off of Jamal so well. Why would he not play off of Damian Lillard this well? It's something that is super fun to see, and it would be crazy to see get Dame better looks and such, but it's never going to happen. But it would just be something I think that'd be very fun to see.
And if they were able to keep that backcourt at the same time, like Jamal and Damian Lillard, that would be hilarious.
That
Just
would.
yeah, be quite the scoring backcourt. Yeah, it's there are a lot of just funky places for Dame. I think we've kind of talked about the high usage dudes. It's so tough
You have to build around.
because yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even though Damian Lillard should be an easy point guard to build
Oh,
around,
easy.
it's just the usage rate really impacts that, and he's not as impactful a catch and shoot player as you'd
Yeah,
think he'd be.
yeah. You got to live and
Um,
die by him.
yeah, it's not as bad as a Trey Young situation or a Russell
No.
Westbrook situation, but it does feel like you're kind of you have to play a certain way with him, and
Yeah,
that's tough. That's tough to do. So, to finish off the Damian Lillard trade exploring, or more so destination fits, I wanted to give a few that I think, uh, you know, potential or not really potential, but just good fits overall for Damian Lillard. And a number one of those is probably the Minnesota Timberwolves for me. I see a big time need for a consistent 3-point guy. I think Anthony Edwards has shown flashes of being able to score in bunches. Obviously, had a huge breakout last year, big time. Mike Conley still has game, still quality point guard, but I think Minnesota could use that final big time punch. Rudy Gobert just doesn't add that. I think if anybody on the roster should go, I would say it's Cat. I think Rudy still provides a solid pick and roll threat for Dame, for Ant, but you need the rim protection. Plus, that gives you more minutes for Naz Reid, potentially Leonard Miller. So I think Damian Lillard, that's probably my favorite fit. And then, Mike Conley, sort of like the Warriors with Chris Paul. why not slot a vet of his caliber into the 6-man role and just let him operate the second unit? I think that could be a great fit. The second one, potential reunion / potential 3-way trade opportunity. I like Damian Lillard in New Orleans. I think we've all been looking at the Pelicans as needing a point guard.
Yeah.
Jose Alvarado has a lot of strengths. CJ McCollum has shown to be a solid playmaker, and we still know he's got the shot creation ability. But if you could get a guy like Damian Lillard, he fits perfectly.
Yeah.
We've heard rumors for a while about potential Zion for Dame trades. It was never legit, but they have been rumors. I've seen them for the last couple months, especially leading up to the draft. But I could see a world where Damian Lillard gets swapped for Zion. Semi-realistic, I guess you could say, not quite, but I guess semi. Same with Minnesota, man. It's just that they need that last punch. I think Brandon Ingram is a certified superstar. I think he's reached that point. Zion, unfortunately, we're still in the when he's healthy kind of game.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there. That's hell for any team because, it doesn't even feel like an Embiid situation. Since Embiid, his first few years in this league, he's been pretty healthy.
Yeah.
His injuries have been minor for the most part. He
Yeah.
hasn't had many big ones, at least that I could think of. Maybe
No.
I'm wrong. Yeah. It doesn't feel like a cat situation where it's like he was just a trooper for a while, but he wasn't sitting out 40, 50, 60 games a year.
Yeah.
Since his first 3 years, yeah, he's been very healthy. That's not the situation with Zion. With Zion, it's just every year something happens, and it's never anything like
Normal.
Yeah, it's something funky and weird, and just it's like it doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
The foot, the weight, the knees, having to learn how to re-walk, all that kind of stuff because his knees were moving weird, and it was like he would have been prone to ACL tear. Like there are a lot of health risks with Zion. Obviously some off the court stuff with him lately.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard is, he is not someone that's really in the light for doing anything like what Zion's been in recently. Granted, that's not as much his fault,
Yeah.
at least in what the woman is doing. But regardless, I think Damian Lillard in a Pelicans uniform puts that team over the edge. Truly, I truly think it does. They just have so much fucking depth. And it's like, if you have to start Trey Murphy at the 4, are you losing much? Yeah.
Fine with me.
Not really. Yeah. And plus his rim protection has gotten way better. He looked really good defensively last year. Herb Jones re-signed. Like EJ Liddell's healthy. They've got guys. So I think that's a team that Damian Lillard could come in and make an immediate impact on. And plus, kind of like with Denver, there could be a world where you don't have to lose your guard. If you could keep CJ too, a little bit of a reunion.
They got loads of depth. They got Laker picks. They got Bucks picks.
They've got a lot of young players. They may not even use like
Dyson
Daniels could be on the
later,
market
I guess,
too.
but they got a lot of assets. Yeah, they got a lot of interesting. Yeah, Kira Lewis Jr. hasn't even played. I don't even remember when, but got a lot of pieces down there. So that's something. Yeah, I could see that. That would be really fun.
Yeah, the Pelicans to me are they're one of the teams in this league that's just one piece away, and I could see Damian Lillard being that guy.
Yeah.
Granted, again, that's just like if you ask Damian Lillard, do you want to go to New Orleans? I'd say he'd give you a resounding fuck no.
He might, yeah.
He seems very set in Miami.
Yeah, that's fair. That is very fair. Yeah.
But that is a place, I think. And then we kind of agree on this. The third pick I'd have, and we talked about this in I think the first episode about Kyrie going to Milwaukee. Obviously, you ended up re-signing with Dallas, but Damian Lillard to the Bucks. Damian Lillard to the Bucks would be big time. It's just it's another team where they need that last punch.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday is a serviceable scoring guard.
Yeah.
Serviceable. He can get you 20, maybe. But if you get that guy who can just run the pick and roll
It-
fervently with Giannis and be an
yeah,
outside threat and be just a scoring threat at all
yeah,
levels, that's so major.
I
And that
agree.
changes everything, especially since they re-signed Brooke, they re-signed Middleton. Like you have contracts to move.
Yeah,
So if you say, okay, we could potentially get off of Middleton, or we could, we'll swap you Middleton and we'll give you Beauchamp and I don't know who else. Like
yeah,
again, these aren't quite realistic trades, but I fit wise, Damian Lillard to me feels perfect in Milwaukee.
yeah,
It just does. I think Giannis needs that pick and roll partner as well. So um that's pretty much that. Damian Lillard, the whole situation's weird.
yeah,
I don't know what's gonna happen there. I think Milwaukee eventually, or not Milwaukee, Miami eventually will pull the trigger, but
yeah.
to me, I think they're gonna lose more than they'll gain.
I agree.
That's I think with any team right now trading for him, that's the biggest thing. Is it's like it almost was like a Simmons situation where Philly sat there for too long waiting for the right package, and then
This never
fuck all
came.
came. Yeah, everyone was like,
Yeah,
even though Ben Simmons has some value, I don't think I'm ready to give up the kitchen sink for him. So
yeah,
yeah. Uh, to move off of that, while we were on break, so to speak, you brought up a couple potential trades that could happen, or teams exploring trading for
yes,
and simply trading players. We'll start with TJ McConnell and the Suns sharing interest in potentially getting him.
yeah,
I love TJ McConnell as a player,
mhm,
fantastic backup point guard, great
yeah.
3-and-D guy, good playmaker, ferocious defender. What are your thoughts on that? How do you see that potentially working?
Yeah, so I just saw it on the Sleeper app. It's a fantasy app. Then it was mentioning TJ McConnell would be a an exploration for the Suns to look into, which I like a lot because I when you get TJ McConnell, I think he's a winner. He
Yep.
only is going out there to win. He's doing nothing else but trying to win. He will take less shots. He will do everything just to make his team win. I love players like that. I think Phoenix needs someone like that. So getting someone like that would be ginormous for them. And even you don't need a great starting point guard. And I think even then, he's still a great, solid starting point guard. Maybe not to other caliber of other guys, but he's going to play defense. He's going to provide great playmaking. He's going to provide great spot up ability. He'll be able to play off the ball. He's someone that you want on your team as a winner. So I think that'd be the greatest trade they could do. Now, I'm thinking of it as packages go. You definitely have to get rid of campaign, but even then, you'll have to add in the sweetener because I don't think anyone's just realistically going to want campaign off of that.
Probably a
So
couple second round picks, maybe.
that's the only thing I can think of is that new trade
Yeah.
they did with Memphis about a week ago where they traded was it was one swap for it was a 2030 swap, I believe, or 2028 swap.
Hmm.
You traded that. So you got 3 seconds out of Memphis. You got a 2024 second, I believe. And even though you still have a few first round picks, but even then, I don't know if he's realistically worth first round picks. Seeing how people go for first round picks nowadays kind of brings a lot of value, but I'd be interested to see Phoenix getting someone like that, a point guard who's going to be able to play. And even then, Campaign missed a good amount of time last year. He missed some time. So even though
Yeah.
you have a team that is relatively injury prone already, as is, so getting someone like TJ McConnell, who I believe also has had injury history in the past few years, also, it would
Yeah.
be interesting to see someone like that. I would be really excited for Phoenix to get a point guard that's not going to be a score first point guard, but also going to provide utility in many other ways. I think that'd be great, and I think is what Phoenix needs.
Yeah. He feels like at this point in his career, like a Kyle Lowry light.
Yeah,
Just a good defender, solid playmaker, and could give you some scoring if you need it.
yeah.
Um, Another player of his caliber, I don't remember if he's still on Indiana or if he ended up going back to Cleveland or what happened, but Ricky Rubio. Um,
Oh,
I know he tore his ACL. He had a fantastic year with Cleveland
yeah, yeah.
when I think Garland or Sexton was out, and then tore his ACL.
Texas was out that year. It was 2020. It was the 21
One,
22 season.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
got traded to Indiana. And I don't remember what happened, but
Man,
I don't know where he is. If he's on
that's a
any
great question.
team,
Let me check
yeah,
that out because I can't even think about that right now. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
because he's another dude of that caliber
Oh,
that
big
I think a
time.
lot of teams would be interested in, and just a big time vet that he
Yeah,
could give you some offense, some playmaking. Ricky Rubio has never been a fantastic defender, but he definitely is just a quality backup guard. But
he's on
yeah,
Cleveland.
he's in Cleveland still.
He's in Cleveland. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what his situation is there, but sort of in the TJ McConnell area
Yeah,
of like,
playmaking. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, great. That
he
guy's a great
teams
player.
want him.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
undeniably. Yeah. No,
especially now with Cleveland's in an interesting spot too. Now that we think about it, because I don't know if you saw, it might have been before the draft or right after. I can't remember, but it was in the last month or two. Um,
with the payment
Cleveland was
court.
Cleveland was saying they were exploring. They were open to trading Darius Garland.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I only saw like one thing about it. Yeah, I think it might have been NBA Central. So, it could be a source. Trust me, bro. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
yeah. No, I
uh,
understand that. Yeah,
like
you never know
it
with
kind
that.
of makes sense.
No,
Donovan
yeah,
Mitchell. I think the big thing there is it's a very small backcourt,
yeah.
six
It is.
two, 6'2". Um, I could see a scenario in which it's like this Darius Garland's playmaking and pick and roll scoring ability, is that enough to make up for just not really being able to guard up?
Yeah, that's
Donovan
true.
Mitchell, because of his vertical, he could kind of guard up because he can, react to shots a little bit better. He's got more
Yeah,
athleticism.
he's the athlete. Yeah,
Yeah. So, Ricky
man.
Rubio, Darius Garland, there are some packages Cleveland has there, or some just trade opportunities Cleveland has there, and I'd be interesting to see what they kind of explore.
Jared
Um,
Allen too, right? Wasn't he in a few rumors?
Him too, Mobley. I think. Well, Mobley and it was
Mobley and Mitchell, I'm guessing, are just untouchable. I would think.
yeah. It was weird because Mobley and Scotty Barnes had, I would say, down sophomore years. I don't think
Yeah,
either and that's the thing is like anytime I see a guy have a rough second year,
I
it's
don't blame
like I
him.
think of baseball.
Yeah,
It's like you
exactly.
see these guys break out, and it's like I'm glad you're happy, but next season, after pitchers have had some time to see their swing, they're
Yeah,
going to exploit everything
big time,
about them.
big time. Yeah,
So it's about learning from there, and I think
yeah,
now Mobley had that second year, it was a bit rough, and now he can go in and say, okay, I
yeah,
know where teams are, where teams want to play me. I know how teams are going to force me into certain situations
yeah,
defensively where they want to try and get me. So, yeah, I would imagine Mobley's untouchable, but Jared Allen, probably someone on the market.
yeah.
The Twin Tower situation sort of worked.
Yeah, it did.
Sort
No,
of,
it
they had a
definitely did. They anchored
fantastic
the best
defense.
defense. Yeah, they anchored the
Yeah,
best defense in the league. So yeah, no, it definitely does. It's just yeah,
it's just
like
the spacing,
playoff time kind of showed against the Knicks. I think
Yeah,
it kind of ruined Donovan's slashing ability. Darius
that plus,
Garland going
yeah.
cold was not didn't help at all. So you're kind of relying on your backcourt a little too much for scoring. So
I think the other thing is Julius Randle as a matchup just exploited both of their
big,
bigs too,
big
because
time, yeah,
he's far more like mobile
yeah,
than the
no,
other guys. So
yeah,
I think that again it's the same thing with Minnesota. It's like in the regular season it'll probably work, but it's just to come playoff time.
it's a different game.
Yeah. So
Absolutely,
Jared Allen, Cleveland's in a very interesting spot because it's like, let's say they move off of Allen. Let's say they
yeah,
move off of Darius Garland. Let's say they move off of Rubio or Okoro. Are they that much worse?
yeah. That's very
I
fair.
don't think they're that much
Yeah,
worse.
that's
Like,
very fair to say.
plus Jared Allen was just an all-star, so his value is probably sky high still.
Pretty
Darius
good.
Garland just came off of a career year. His value is sky high.
Yeah.
Ricky Rubio still offers something. He might be worth a second round pick or two, maybe. Okoro, young player, fantastic wing
He's
defender,
interesting, yes.
probably at least has Matisse Thybulle value.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I don't know. I'm it's funny to think about Cleveland as like they could drop three of their best young players and still not really get much worse
Yeah,
given what they could probably net from all three of them.
I agree.
So yeah, it's an interesting situation, but to get back kind of to where we were with TJ McConnell, yeah, teams are going to be exploring those playmaking backup guards. And speaking of another one, not as much of a playmaking, but you brought up another player up, and he was kind of sort of in the TJ McConnell potential trade swap with Phoenix. But Cameron Payne,
Yeah.
someone that's really found his place in Phoenix.
Mhm.
Obviously, he was with the Thunder for his first few years in the league. Sort of had some stability in Chicago, but has
Yeah.
really found himself in Phoenix. great backup scoring point
Big
guard,
time.
solid 3-point shooter. Um, who are some, what is the situation there? What are you thinking with campaign?
I'm guessing they're not liking campaign as much as the other guys. I would think he'd be included in the trade. I don't really know what he'd be worth or what his value would be, but like you
Yeah,
said, he is very interesting as a backup point guard. I like him a lot. I don't know if I personally like him as my starter per se, but on a team
yeah,
like Phoenix, I guess you can't be too picky with who your point guard is because you have an interesting team. You have a very good team, but I think getting someone like TJ McConnell to replace someone, and I mean, I think campaign is more score first than looking to play make, but I
yeah.
think you might need a point guard that's probably looking to play make before scoring. So
Hmm.
that's what I take from that. I don't really know what he'd necessarily get you. I think he's very solid, and I think a lot of teams would want him. I just don't know what his value would be.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. It's weird seeing point guards like that are smaller and
Yeah,
score first, and perimeter oriented. A team I could kind of see having some intrigue in him is probably the Clippers. The
that is
Clippers
fair.
are, they re-signed Westbrook. He'll, I
Yeah,
think, be starting, I would
yeah,
imagine.
I
But
think.
I don't think Bones Highland is going to be there much longer. I think a lot of teams are kind of just down on him,
Yeah.
understandably so. Just the build. We talk about
Score
Amani
first,
Bates.
not really meant looking to play defense,
Yeah, he's
not
got the and one
playmaker.
skill set.
Yeah, not
It's
not a playmaking guard or defensive oriented guard, just looking to score.
on the scoring is inconsistent. It's not
Exactly. Efficiency is not the greatest. Yeah.
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 So I think that could potentially be a campaign destination. Yeah, it's interesting to see because Phoenix isn't trying to look for like a star point guard. They just you want a playmaker. That's all.
Yeah. I agree.
Someone who can kind of cool the breaks and sort of bring
Very
some flow
smart.
into the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And it's kind of the Warriors ended up taking Corey Joseph. He's
Smart point
someone that
guard.
probably would have fit with Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. I
Like
agree.
I'd
Yeah.
start Corey Joseph if I were Phoenix. Six
Yeah.
four, buff point guard, assist to turnover ratio, one of the best in the league. Could shoot the three, but like they kind of need that. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. I'm another guy that I'm kind of looking at. Did he get traded in the Obi Toppin deal to Indiana? I don't know. Is Emmanuel Quickly still in New York?
Yeah. No, he
Yeah,
is.
he's someone that I would also be
Oh,
interested in for
yeah.
Phoenix, like
The only thing is
because New York wants to get rid of him.
I don't know if you saw, he was requesting, I believe, 4 years, 100 million. It was a lot. It was
What
a
the?
lot of money. It was a lot. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a good amount of money, which what he was wanting.
Never mind then. Yeah.
He was second in six man this year.
Still, that is ridiculous. I like Tyree. If Tyrese Maxey asked for that, sure,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah. Knicks Emmanuel quickly wants 9 figures on next contract. June 29th.
yeah, no bueno for me, sir. No bueno for me.
There's a hypothetical 4 years, 72 million, but I'm guessing he's probably not set on that.
No, but that's a little more realistic. I'm
A
thinking
lot more
like,
realistic. Yeah. 18.
yeah,
Not too. Well, no.
I'd say like I'd give him 50. I think 50 would be like again, look at if Austin Reeves is making less than what Quickly would make, that's a
Yeah.
problem.
And I mean,
That's a
DiVincenzo
problem.
even would be making
What is
less.
he making? Like 50? He
Was it
54?
was it 4 year 54?
Something. I think it was 54, if I'm not mistaken.
It was not what he should have gotten in reality, but I understand why he took that deal.
Yeah, but that's a quality contract. Like
That's a
for
very
quick
quality contract.
Quickly is not going out there putting out 25 and 8 assists. Like get out of here. That dude is not worth 100 million.
Yeah,
But
I'm in agreement. 4 years, 50 million for DiVincenzo.
50, okay.
So yeah,
Um
a way lower AAV compared to.
and I'd way rather play DiVincenzo than Quickly any day of the week.
I
So
agree. Yeah.
yeah. I guess not for Phoenix.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
think he's a bit
gotta
out of the pay grade for that.
yeah. Shouldn't be, but it seems to be.
Seems like
Um, another thing is we could see a potential buyout market for Kyle Lowry.
yeah,
Um,
I have
I
seen that a lot.
yeah, he's and Mike Conley.
Yeah,
Mike Conley's another dude.
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, so the Phoenix is not. I don't think Phoenix is done.
They're not short of
campaign.
options right now. Yeah, there's a lot of
No.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes that are probably going to be on the market soon.
Yeah.
Um, it's an interesting time, man. We're not probably not going to be seeing any trades for a little while.
No,
One of the
probably
interesting
not.
things I still saw is Kelly Oubre still unsigned.
I have seen that. Yeah.
Um, Kelly Oubre is one of the most odd players in basketball.
Yeah. To
He
say the least.
has completely drifted away from what made him like a potential all-star in Phoenix. Um, 3 4 years ago, we were looking at Kelly Oubre as a potentially one of the best 3-and-D wings in basketball.
Yeah.
Like bar none, his
He was
2020 season before the
great.
injury, he
Yeah.
looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big time. Great player.
obviously got hurt,
Yeah.
which it's hard to blame guys where they feel a little bit like some type of way about going all out athletically after a knee injury, but
Yeah.
he has completely stepped away from being as physical a player as he once
Yeah.
was and has really just settled for shooting.
43.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
To say the least.
hoisting them fuckers, man. He does not
Yeah.
shy away from shooting at
He has the
all.
green line Charlotte, man.
Yeah. He's doing
Yeah.
what we thought Gordon Hayward was gonna do.
He averaged
Just
20 last year, I believe.
something like that. But
He
the
averaged 20
three-point
on like
attempts
18
were just
shots.
yeah, just
That's a good one.
ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where Oubre's value is because again, it's like if we're looking at Oubre from 4 years ago,
Yeah.
I think he'd have been signed already, and
Oh,
that's 100 million deal.
easy. Yeah, 4 years
But
ago. Big time.
yeah, so I'm wondering who might take a chance on Oubre because I don't think anybody's gonna ask him to play there without the kind of incentive of like, dude, I need that
Yeah,
defense. I need you to
exactly.
be the defensive menace.
Same with
Um,
Wood too. I mean, he's having a hard time being signed
because
also.
he's so bad defensively.
Yeah, I know.
I literally while we were on break, I saw on Instagram that the Warriors are interested in Christian Wood, and now this has been kind of a like a baseless want,
Yeah.
and then it's a rumor. No, it's not. You just want him. Is that Christian Wood could be on the Warriors, and it's like, and one of the comments was, "Man, this is a good that could be a good signing because all Christian Wood would have to do is rebound and protect the rim." It's like he
He's
does
not
neither of those.
yeah, he's not gonna do either.
Like he's one of the worst like statistical defenders at his
Yeah.
position in basketball.
He's not meant to play defense whatsoever.
No, he's a
He's meant
bad
to
like
score. That's
yeah, and it's like would he be horrible defensively with Draymond next to him?
I
No.
think he'd be upgraded compared to Dallas, to be fair.
Yeah, Dallas had. I mean, their
Yeah.
front court was just like a black hole. There was nothing.
Yeah, and
Like
Dwight Powell.
it was
Yeah,
a layup line. Yeah.
exactly.
It wouldn't be the same in Golden State. It wouldn't be the same
Yeah,
on some of these other teams. But it's like I'm not paying you big time money if you can't
no,
even fucking block a shot, dude. Get out of here. It's just
no.
not in today's league. You got to give me something defensively.
Yeah.
Um, and the other thing is he's a bad free throw shooter, and for a guy that tries to score at his rate to not
Yeah.
have that confidence at the line, that frightens me, man. I'm never okay with guys who just want to keep scoring but can't shoot free throws. Like, I don't get it. It's
That'd be weird signing.
that truly bothers me, man. It's like I've been praising Pajemski so far for the Warriors, but
Yeah.
man, he has struggled from the free throw line. And it's
Yeah.
like, is Pajemski ever going to be a guy taking 25 shots a game? Fuck no. But
No.
at the same time, it's like if you're a point guard that's or a combo guard that's
Yeah.
shooting 40% from three,
Should be
I am
able to shoot.
expecting at least
Yeah.
80% from the
Yeah.
line.
That's pretty fair.
At least 80.
That's a pretty fair line to set. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's summer league, but it's like
Yeah.
I want guys to shoot free throws better. With Andrew Wiggins, that's a huge thing. Is the free throw shooting is god awful.
It's
Kevon Looney does so
yeah.
much, but the free throw shooting is awful. It's
Draymond's, yeah, also is
he
questionable.
shoots free throws well when he needs to, and that's
Yeah.
all. Like Draymond, it's like I don't care if he goes 1 for 25. I know when the game needs him to shoot a three, he'll make that shit. He's always done it. I'm cool with it. But these other dudes, it's like they just I don't know, that gene doesn't seem to be there, which is
Yeah.
weird to me. Yeah. But I think that's probably gonna wrap it up for this. Covered a bit today. Most of it was, just exploring things that could happen around the league. Damian Lillard, TJ McConnell, campaign, just a lot of stuff that can go on. Small additions, big additions, just to make some rosters better.
Yeah.
Also covering summer league. There's going to be more to come. Obviously, not from Wembenyama, not from Amen, not from Scoot,
Oh
unfortunately, but
yeah.
just seeing these other dudes, seeing how some other guys look, and next podcast, we'll probably look into some guys that we weren't really paying attention to. Someone
Yeah.
that I'm still very interested in is Andrew Nemhard on the Pacers. I think that kid is pretty incredible.
No, he
He had
is.
a great season last year, obviously. Huge game against Steph Curry and the Warriors.
Oh, the triple double.
Yeah, he dropped him off. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. He
Yeah.
fucking dropped us off.
Yeah.
He's been looking pretty good in summer league, so I'm interested to see a lot of these other guys that haven't really had the spotlight because of Wembenyama. So,
Yeah.
that's probably gonna wrap it up. Thank you again, Dom, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
As always, I'm probably gonna wrap up every video like this. In the Moment Hoops will be in the description. Go check him out. Him and his friends are doing stuff there too. They're posting all the time NBA content. So, yep, that's gonna do it. If you enjoy the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we're posting one or two of these every week. So hope you guys are enjoying them, and thank you. We'll see you later. Peace.